Hi, Caroline. How are you?
Good. How are you this morning?
Good. I'm Raquel Berry, the AZ for District 18.
Welcome. It's great to meet you.
Thank you. So I just wanted to thank you very much for presenting this. We have a combination of districts here. We have 18, 21, and 22.
All right. All my lucky numbers.
Yeah,
Wonderful.
all Brooklyn
Perfect.
South.
All right. Well, we will begin in 2 minutes, everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning. Welcome.
Thank you.
I'm just going to check in with my admin from Solved. Beth, is that you this morning?
It is. I'm also joined by Brooke. Good morning, everyone.
Wonderful. Beth and Brooke are here to help us if we have any technical difficulties. I always like to make sure they're out there. I can chat with them.
And good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, happy Friday.
Yes, we made it through.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I don't know what it was like. I live up in the Mid-Hudson Valley, so I was hit with a snowstorm
Wow.
on Tuesday.
Okay.
So I'm really
Mhm.
happy to be here.
Yep.
Snow's already melting off. It's so much better than it was Tuesday.
Oh, that's good to know. Good.
All right, I have that it's 9:30. And I know we're expecting more people, but that's fine. They can come in. We're very happy to have you here. And I am very respectful of your time. You're here with me from 9:30 to 10:30. So let's get started. You've come to a professional development. It's organized by Solved. It's part of the New York State TAIL Academy, which is Teaching Across Learning Environments, where we welcome you to consider a broader perspective, teaching and learning, applying best practices across multiple learning environments, in-person, remote, and hybrid. I just want you to know that you are being recorded today. This recording will be sent to you. So if you prefer to be off camera, we understand, but it's really helpful to our community, to me as your presenter, if I can see your wonderful smiling faces. So I also want you just take a moment to read our norms. And let me know if you have any questions, but you can count on me to start and end on time. And I ask all of us to be here now. So I know you have a list of things you have to do today, as do I. And it's easy to let our minds go there, but for an hour, let's make a commitment to be here together and take an increased stance. So let me just introduce myself quickly today. I'm Dr. Caroline Hoppenwasser. I'm an instructional consultant for Solved. I have a degree in literacy, particular focus there, and I've been an educator for 20 plus years. Actually, I realized that it's 25 plus years now, so I need to update my slide. I just had my 50th birthday and I was like, oh wait, I've been doing this more than 25 years now. Okay, so I spent that as a public teacher, a public school teacher, as well as a college professor who prepared people to be literacy specialists and public school teachers. So I'd love to know who you are. Some people have already started with their good mornings, but I'd love to know your name, what content or grades you focus on, your school or district. I know we have 3 districts represented, and I'm so glad for you to be here, but just pop a let us know who you are in the chat as we get going this morning, and let's see who all has come to this professional development at 9:30 on Friday. Good morning. I will tell you, I'll disclose, I started as a kindergarten teacher, so this makes me want to sing a good morning song. And everyone shake hands and say good morning. We've got, all kinds of grades represented, special ed teacher, wonderful. IEP teacher, special education administrator, all kinds of roles coming in. Wonderful, which is great because we're going to bring so many interesting and different perspectives and understandings of this topic and we will have time to work in breakout groups to share today. Got grades 6 through 8. Administrator. Oh, wow. We have so many special ed people. They could be here running this professional development. Thank you. Keep that coming. And we're going to now look at our professional learning intentions. So today we're going to focus on learning environment accommodations for students with disabilities. And then we're going to spend a good portion of our time exploring high leverage practices for explicit instruction in specially designed instruction. All right, so I would like to start here with you. You're going to have a document I'm going to put in the chat. I'm calling it your note catcher. It's going to keep you oriented today. It's got important links. It's got different resources. It's got ways you can take notes and also capture information. So when you open it, it's going to ask you to make a copy. So if you just go ahead and do that, let me double check its permissions because that is something. Yep. Anyone with the link can edit. You should now be able to open it and edit it. If you have trouble with that, you can put it in the chat and our admin, Beth and Brooke, will help you in the chat with that, but hopefully you don't have any trouble opening it. And the first thing I want you to open today is the This We Believe survey. And I want you to take a few minutes and everyone's going to complete, it's just 4 questions. And we'll look at that together to sort of set the stage for our time together today. So I'm also going to put the link to that in the chat. So this is the link to our form. This form, the results are going to come in anonymously. No one will know who said what. So please take a moment and fill it out, and then we'll look at the responses together. And as you finish it, I want you to think about, are there any insights or surprises that came up for you as you answered these questions? So you're welcome to use your note catcher to reflect on that answer. This note catcher is just for you, so to help you be actively engaged today. All right, so I'm gonna go. We have 3 responses. Thank you, people. Y'all are moving and shaking this morning. In a moment, I'm gonna go to responses and we'll look at them together, and you're thinking about any insights. It says I need permission to fill out the form. I don't understand, because if you have the link, you should be able to fill it out. Kathleen, I will look into that.
It would be under your settings, Caroline. It may be, you may have to be signed into your school's account. I think under responses. Oh, wait, back to settings and then responses.
Oh, sorry, thank you.
So if you unchecked restrict to users, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. So if you try opening the link again, it should work now.
Yes, and I'll put it in again. I apologize. I didn't know that was automatically checked for me. All right. Thank goodness for our tech help. All right, we have a lot of people coming in. So I believe that students with mild to moderate disabilities can and should be taught alongside their peers in general education settings. I feel like, hold on. I'm going to open this again so we can just see the questions. So we have 1 was strongly agree and 5 was strongly disagree. Strongly agree that they should, and we have a range. So we have students with mild to moderate disabilities can and should be taught alongside their peers. 11 of our participants, or 1 was strongly agree, but we have some in each of the categories. Let's look at 2. I feel I can effectively teach my students with mild to moderate learning disabilities. We have, again, a range with the majority being people, yes, I strongly believe, but we also have people who have the feeling that they cannot, whether it's they do not have the resources or what that is. We can look into that and think about it. By learning new skills and trying new strategies, I can help all of my students learn. And so 15 people, 16 is going up, agree with that. And we still have some who think even with new skills and strategies, that's not a possibility. So let's see before we go to our last question, let's talk about that for a minute. As you fill out this form for yourself and as you listened and looked at the results, what are some reflections you have on that? And were there any surprises, whether it's just about your personal response or it's about the responses overall? And you may either put those in the chat or you're welcome to come off mute and talk with me. And I would really love that because I've only had 1 cup of coffee today and I'm counting on you to help me out here. I can see some of you. So you're just because I'm sharing my screen, but I'd love it. You're welcome just to come off mute and talk. I'm going to go back through the responses, the number. We've gotten some more in. We still have strongly agree as the leader, but we have, again, a range of responses from strongly agree to strongly disagree. Reflections, thoughts, or surprises looking at these results. I'm thinking that some of the strongly disagree may be due to clicking the wrong option. Selena, I wondered about that as well. So that's something to consider. We can also think the people in the middle are probably meant to be in the middle. So just think about, we're saying strongly agree is 1 and strongly disagree is 5. And Selena, thank you for sharing that. What makes you say that?
Well, just because when I was, reading the first one, when I was reading the first one in the survey, I almost clicked 5 when I strongly agreed. So, I almost made that mistake myself.
Yeah.
So maybe, if those of us that did, click no or strongly disagree, whether or not they could effectively teach their students with mild or moderate learning disabilities, maybe they could go back into the survey and correct that, or at least write that see, somebody just commented. I agree, that's what I did by accident. Yeah, so I think the majority of us do feel that we can effectively teach our students with mild to moderate learning disabilities.
Thank you for speaking up for everyone who did that, Selena, because that would be a surprise to me too, if there were teachers here who didn't think they could do that at all. I believe that some might feel possibly there's more they could learn, they need more help, but that as teachers, that's where we come from. And I love that. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm trying to read the chat at the same time. And sometimes that breaks my brain. That as teachers, first thing in the morning, we misread the information. So no problem. Let's go on to then the question where you put in some responses on, oh, I want to see the individual responses. And now I've forgotten how. For what you think. Here we go. When you hear personalized instruction. Nope, I can't do it. Beth, do you know how I can change this so I can see the individual responses really quickly? More like a list.
That I'm not sure about.
Yeah, I knew in another lifetime, but it's escaped my mind.
If you go back up to the top, you can export them to a Google Sheet, and that way you can see them, you know, the individual responses in a sheet. Oh, right there, question and individual.
There we go. I just hadn't gone far enough. So we're just going to look at some of these direct and student specific. Here we go. Question. I am so sorry. Here we go. Nope. We're going to.
You'll have to go
that.
through each
Yeah.
one individually. It's like everybody's response.
Thank you,
for
Dana.
each.
I am
Yeah.
so sorry and I apologize. But we had, what I love is for each of you, there's an individualized belief of what that is. So one of the things we want to do today is look at and think about what is a definition we can all think about today for our particular purpose of being together. And one of the things I'd like to share is just a short video clip. Now I'm worried my share isn't going to share the sound. So if you could please, when I start this video clip, give me a yes or no in the chat that you can hear the sound, or I can see Dana and Tony and y'all could just give me a thumbs up. All right.
Average for education means that it is unacceptable to design learning environments assuming most kids are like an average kid, right? Because it turns out scientifically, mathematically, there actually isn't such a person. It's just an empty middle. They don't exist. And so you designed textbooks and curriculum materials and assessments that fit actually nobody at all. And then kids muddle through, and then we reward the ones that muddle through the best, you know, with better grades, all the while thinking we're actually nurturing their potential, and we're not. One of the mistakes I think we're making in education is to view personalized learning as another fad, but it's not. I mean, it's something bigger than that. There's something stirring in society. We're getting away from one size fits all and focusing on systems that really try to understand who you are and help develop you to your full potential. We have to show that this is a complete rethink of ourselves as a society, and then position education as part of that. You know, for me, things like character development have lost ground in education, and they should be front and center. But the only way we get to do that is if we're really good at meeting every kid where they're at and giving them what they need to develop that broader range of skills and abilities and knowledge.
So I love what he says in that something is stirring in society. And as teachers, we all are, excuse me, when I say teachers, I mean all educators here today, that it should have been stirring all of this time. And one of the big game changers is that during the pandemic, all of these children went home and their families saw what was happening and what wasn't happening while they were there. So when we think about personalized instruction for today's purpose, we have this definition. It's just an educational framework that provides learning pathways, strategies, and tools to support students as they gain the knowledge, skills, and dispositions of the 21st century learner and global citizen. So we're thinking about not just the student here in our classroom, but this student as they go out afterwards into the world to be a global citizen. All right, my next question for you, and I'd love for you to answer this in the chat, is, are you familiar with the blueprint for improved results for students with disabilities? So have you heard of it? Have you used it? Or no, this is your first view of it today? Take a minute to put yes or no in the chat. All right, thank you. Here we go. Let's make this big again. And make it big. No. All right, then take a moment right here. Oh, look at all the no's. Look at it. Oh, the yeses are up here. Good, good, good. All right, take a moment and let's look at this together. Heard of the different categories, but not as a blueprint. Well, you know, New York State education has made it into a blueprint, and it's their blueprint for improved results for students with disabilities. And we have the big categories you'd expect to see. And today we're going to really focus on the two with the gold stars. They're all super important. Today are our gold stars. Yolanda will make sure you have access to the slides that have these important pieces that are helpful to you. Yes. So we're going to be thinking about specially designed instruction and linking that with research-based instruction. So specially designed instruction is just teachers design, provide, and assess the effectiveness of specially designed instruction to provide students with disabilities with access to participate and progress in general education curriculum, right? So we know that is not just a lofty goal, it is the law. It is our IEP is one of the ways that we are, that's our vehicle for this. So you have, depending on your job in the school, differing levels of interaction with the IEP, but it's the legal document that provides us with this specifically designed instruction. It's where people have come in and decided and clearly worked with all the people involved to plan for the student. And then your job as the teacher is to make that happen. And we know we have all of the ways we have to report on that to make sure it's happening. So that's one vehicle to make sure we're able to do that. And then we have others as well. So we have IEP accommodations as part of our specially designed instruction. We have IEP modifications as part of it. You can think of the working within a student's zone of proximal development as part of this. So you can also think of scaffolding supports as part of this. So there are many pieces that come into play that as a teacher, you're already using at different levels to help students and create specially designed instruction. And probably what you're thinking right now is, I'm trying to do that for everyone, whether they have an IEP or they're identified or not. And that is absolutely true. It's just that when we think about students with disabilities, we have these legal components that we have to make sure we're addressing. All of these things that we do are going to help everyone in our classroom as well. How is this different from differentiated instruction? That's a really great question, Stacy. So let's think about that. We have a lot of people who are special ed teachers or administrators here, and I wonder if they would be willing to come and give us their view on that question as well. How is specially designed instruction different from differentiated instruction? And we're gonna come back to that question as we look at the specifically design instruction components, Stacy. So hold on to that. We're gonna come back and think about it some more. All right, so when we think about specifically design instruction, we have common areas where we have educational barriers for students with disabilities. And those are in the boxes here. You can have barriers to content through instruction, through the way the content is set up, through the materials you have for your learners, for the types of assessments you're using, and because due to the environment, the educational or learning environment. So today's presentation is designed to think about, in particular, the learning environment and barriers that you have encountered or might encounter for students with disabilities. So let's think about ways that we already in your classrooms and school communities, what are environmental conditions supports for students with disabilities to overcome environmental factors? So that's your setup in your classroom or your school that might create interference between the student with disability and what they're learning and being in their learning environment. So here's what we're going to try is a waterfall chat. Have you ever done a waterfall chat? I love them. So you're going to type into your chat, but you're not going to press enter until I ask you to. What are some environmental supports that you already use for students with disabilities to remove that environmental barrier? So you are helping them learn in your classroom and school community. So take a moment and think about what you're currently doing. And then when I say, I want you to hit the button. So you have one more moment. Now go, everybody. Woo! It's a waterfall. It's a waterfall. We've got flexible seating. We've got partitions. We've got visuals. I love all of you and your flexible seating, digital accommodations and modifications, visual aids, daily schedules, a study corral for students who are easily distracted. All right, so we have a lot of seating, a lot of small group, color coding. Ooh, I love color coding. All right, look at all of these ideas. Now, fidget and sensory toys, timers. Thank you. Now I'm going to go to another slide to think about the environment. And I want you to just read through these and see, oh, what did we use? What did we get in our waterfall chat? What did we not get in our waterfall chat? What else can we consider? All right, did you find some new ones? I think the mindset is an important factor to consider that was not mentioned. Dana, do you mind telling us more about that? Because I think that's so important. And Melissa has also added social emotional support. Would one of y'all please tell us some more about that? That's amazing.
Yeah, so I work in the NEST program for so it's for students with autism in an ICT classroom. And I feel like one of the things that they all struggle with is that social emotional piece. So something we've been trying as like a whole class is starting the day with some type of mindfulness, but it's not in every classroom. And I feel like even when we just did that, even though I'm supporting students in it, my mind didn't originally go there when I thought about the environment. So I found that interesting, that mindset is also considered the environment. It's a good point.
Oh my gosh, it's such a good point. And I'm just going to do a shameless plug right now. I am also for Solved doing on Monday afternoons the next 2 Monday afternoons are PD on social emotional learning and setting up that mindful environment. So if you're interested in learning more, we have more free PD on that Mondays at 2:30. Alexandra says relationships are something we have, but don't necessarily think of as an environmental support. And it's probably one of the most important things. That is such a huge, important point. So we have all of these that we're thinking about all the time that are things we can do, but our environment is also a culture. So how are we setting up the culture to support students with disabilities? And again, whatever we do is also going to be supporting the other students. And when we do mindfulness work, it's supporting ourselves as well. It's a gift we're giving ourselves. So wonderful. Thank you for adding that really important component. So when we think about specially designed instruction, that's the legal mandate to make adaptations or modifications to the content, methodology, or delivery of instruction to address the unique needs of a child with disability. So that goes back to our question, and I'm sorry, I forgot who asked the question. What's the difference between this and differentiated instruction? Differentiated instruction is something we as teachers are doing all the time as a best practice. Specially designed instruction is, as I believe, more of a special ed term, and it's the legal mandate. It's the IEP. It's we are required by law to think this through for these students in particular ways. We know that we're doing that for everyone when we do our universal design for learning, and we think of differentiated instruction as the big umbrella of how we plan what we're doing. But then we think about our population of students with disabilities who need even a next level of support, and over time have been shown that we have to legally protect. Does that make sense? So they have been so vulnerable, they have not been protected in ways they needed to be. So we have, oh, we're getting big things. Thank you. I'm going to read these too. So we have this special language that comes in when we talk with students with disabilities. So Selena says differentiated instruction. She sees it as giving different choices for students, for the students who are high, middle, low, and especially design instruction is creating the assessments content used with all students in mind, such as visual prompts, slides, incorporating students' cultures into activities. Yeah, and that's universal design for learning also, right? We're thinking about all kinds of modalities. We're presenting things in many, many ways. And then when we think specifically about our students with disabilities, we're coming in with our specially designed instruction linked with their IEPs. And we are then thinking about high leverage practices. And that's a set of professional practices that teachers should master and use in order to provide this effective, specially designed instruction. And that's what I want us to look at together now, are some of these high leverage practices. And if you think back to our blueprint, we had high leverage practices and research-based practices. As our starred things, these high leverage practices are going to bring in specific research-based practices we can use. All right, so I want you to look on your note catcher right now. These are several high leverage practices that we have different levels of knowledge about as we come into this meeting. And we're going to have opportunities after this. We're going to do a self-assessment on how much we know about them. And then I'm going to give you time to access resources that have been brought together to specifically help you learn more about the ones you need to know more about. So I have a rating scale here where you can self-assess where you know it and use it to personalize instruction. You heard about it, but need to know more or have not heard about it. So just take a moment and read through these 12 practices. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. No, 8. I have 12 resources, 8 practices. Rate yourself on how well you know them. And then I'm going to talk to you about what we're going to do to improve your knowledge. You're going to decide on one or two of these you are going to interact with today. I'm going to check the chat because I've gotten behind. Thank you for resending the note catcher link, Beth and Brooke. I appreciate you. Oh, we have a lot of people talking more about, in particular, the environment piece of bringing in culture. Marina's saying they have an equity commitment statement added to their culture plan. We commit to applying best practices for supporting diverse and exceptional learners in the general and special education settings. So it's set up as the environment for their entire school community. Thank you for sharing that. All right, so you've rated yourself on this, and now here's what we're going to do. The next thing under that table on your note catcher is a choice board. So you're invited to explore any of the resources in the choice board below. Sorry, it's below on yours, based on your self-inventory. So I want to go back. These letters here correlate with the resources on your choice board. So if you said, I want to know more about the NICEAD blueprint for improved results, that's A on your choice board. If you want to learn more about learner variability, you go to F, specially designed instruction. There's two things, C and G. So it's just a roadmap for you. So here's what you're going to do. You're going to have about 10 minutes to individually explore and learn more about the topic of your choice. You have on, I'm going to go to your note catcher. You have a place for notes. So you can write down, what is my what, my so what, my now what, like what is my connection now, what am I going to do with it? And then you're going to have that to share when in 10 minutes I open breakout rooms. You'll be put in a breakout room randomly where other people have learned about other topics, and everyone will have the opportunity to share one of their big takeaways and then receive information from others. All right, so your job is going to be to choose what practice you're going to use, go to your choice board, interact with that practice individually for about 10 minutes, taking notes, and then I will open breakout rooms for you. Please let me know in either with the thumbs up or whatever way you can, if that makes sense, or if you have questions. All right, then your job right now, and I'd love it if you just put in the chat real quick, just the letter of the resource you're going to be engaged with. So I can just see the variety that we're going to use. And then please open that and start your exploration. Ooh, we got a lot of different choices. Excellent. Thank you. All right, I'm setting a timer right now for your exploration. And then when that goes off, we will move into breakout rooms. So I'm about to create the breakout rooms and then you'll be able to join. And you can, in that breakout room, you're going to share which resource you used at a something interesting to take away to share with your colleagues. So I'm opening the rooms now. If you're having trouble, if you're still in the main room and you need help, please let us know. Diana, Stacy, or Christina, I see you still here in the main room. If you're there, let us know. We'll see if we can help you. Or we can have a group here. Christina has not received. Let's see, Christina. Did that work? Did you get an invitation to go? Yes.
Oh, yep.
Yay. Beth, this is our best breakout room rate
I
so far.
know. Yeah, this was great.
Good work. All right.
This one's going really smoothly.
Yes, and I've been able to come back and look at the form, the part I wanted to share. So I'm going to come back and end with that as well.
Oh, great.
I hadn't used forms in a little while and I forgot a few things.
Hi, I'm Brooke. I haven't met you yet, but I just wanted to peek in and say hello.
I love having a face to put with your name now.
Yeah,
Thank you for being here this morning.
For
We need all the
sure.
help we can get.
yes, it's
people.
been great being here.
Yeah. Wonderful.
Yeah, so either Brooke or I, we're not sure yet. One of us will be joining you on Monday. That's why I wanted her to join today as well. Since you and Maura both have courses at the same time on Monday,
Yes.
we'll both be in one. So
Wonderful. Well, whichever one of you is there, just put in the chat who it is. So I'm calling you by the right
Yeah.
name.
Okay.
The information I like to
Okay.
know as we get started, Brooke, is how many people were registered for today.
Okay.
Sometimes I don't know, and it's always exciting to know how many people to expect.
did I
For
send you
sure.
that today? I didn't, did I?
Oh, it's okay. Matthias and
Oh.
I had
Oh,
talked
okay.
about it on Wednesday, so I felt pretty sure about these numbers.
Good. We had a few more. We were up to 81 for today. So
Oh my gosh, how many people showed up though?
I think we were,
Consistently 54.
yeah.
54.
Pretty good. I mean,
54. That's good.
that's a good chunk of people.
Not bad. Some of those ones that registered didn't actually put their emails, so it's
Yeah.
54 is pretty good.
That's exciting. They didn't, bless their hearts. They didn't put their emails to get their link.
Yeah, we had someone this morning who put the address of their school where we asked for their email. So I don't know if maybe they saw like if it said email address and they just put the full address.
Yeah. You know, sometimes your brain plays tricks on you. It
Yeah.
Yes.
happens to
That's
all
true.
of us. And you know, teachers have so many things on their minds, right?
Yes.
So many things
yeah.
on their minds at once.
I was about to say, it's been really fun sitting in on this because it reminds me of college, because this was a lot of college, you know, just sitting in and doing those hours of, you know, professional development.
Yeah. It
Yeah.
reminds me of teaching too.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Beth, what do you teach?
I taught 5th grade ESL in Houston.
Oh,
I taught reading and writing to 5th graders. Yeah, good
Did you
times.
do that during the pandemic online?
I sure did. Yeah. I was in Teach for America, so I started in 2019 and I finished in 2021. So it was like right through the pandemic.
Well, you did it during the hardest time. So now
Yeah.
you can say to yourself, I can do anything in the whole world.
That's what I tell myself every day. I'm like, I've been through, the hardest 2 years already. So
You have.
Yeah.
During that time, I was a college professor. And so I was working with either pre-service teachers or in-service teachers. And my in-service teachers, a lot of them had gotten their first job and the pandemic hit. And I was like,
yeah.
if you can do this, when this is over, everything's going to seem so freaking easy.
For sure. No, yeah, I was in college I was an education major, so I was going to teach EC through 6. I wanted to be a 2nd grade teacher, and I was in college during the pandemic. So when I left for spring break, I never went back and graduated. So it was crazy. But yeah, so
Oh, wild. And if you think about it, like today, I think today is the day that was the last day in 2020.
yeah,
I think it was
you're
today.
right.
I think so. Yeah.
Wow.
Isn't that wild?
What? If you think about, I feel like we should have some sort of a moment where everyone has to just stop and think about the big lessons they learned and all of the ways that we need to, the things we need to keep from that time, all the kindness and generosity.
Yeah.
Because wow,
It's
we
hard
had
to
2
believe it's
weeks.
been 3 years.
We went on spring break and we had 2 weeks to come back and put everything online. And I was
Yeah.
teaching, we had an on-campus literacy clinic. So I had to get my teachers ready to go online with their students, as well as they were all out teaching, getting ready to go online with their students. So yeah,
Everything happened so quick. Like I remember we were driving back because we had went to Gulf Shores and we were driving back. And so I'm from Texas. So it was just a quick drive. And then we came back and I went to A&M and we were all sitting in the truck like, are we going to go back? Like, are they going to cancel classes and everything? And then finally we were like, oh my goodness, they did.
You're from Texas.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm from Alabama.
Oh my gosh. So
I'm
Gulf
from
Shores
close to
right
Alabama
there.
in
Gulf
Florida.
Shores is my favorite beach in the world. I was there as soon as we could finally travel again as a family. We all went to Gulf Shores.
Oh, it's so beautiful. That's all you need, you know.
Those beautiful white sands was very healing.
Yeah. Oh, I bet so.
All right, everyone's coming back. Wonderful. I'm going to share my screen again. Oh, there goes my timer. Fabulous. I'm going to share that. That's a hot mess. All right, and as you come back, I'm going to ask you to do this last reflection activity. All of our breakout rooms are going to close in 20 seconds, so people are wrapping up in there. We have 6 minutes left, and I promise we'll be done on time. And you can modify this 3, 2, 1 any way you want. But what I'd like you to do is just reflect on some strategies or ideas that you learned today in these in this session and talking with your colleagues, an action or two you want to commit to, and then maybe even a lingering question you have that you want to learn more about going forward from this. And you can either put those things in just on your note catcher, or I'd love if you're willing to share in the chat any of these things, a reflection or an action or a lingering question.
Caroline, I see your desktop screen. I don't see your slides.
Hold, please. Let's restart that share. Share this. Now you should see my slides for sure.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Excellent. And while you're thinking about that, I have a few finishing touches. One is I went back into our form and took all your responses for what is personalized instruction, and I just popped it into a word cloud. So this is what I was trying to do at the beginning and couldn't do. So I just wanted to end with this. These are the important big words you came up with. What is personalized instruction to you? The next piece I want to share with you is we have two other in this series professional developments on student with disabilities, which I believe are set up to be shared with your districts. But you are here on supporting students with personalized instruction, and then we have multimodal instruction and resources for parents and teachers. And so on your note catcher, you have the link to the Solved website where you can register, and all of these are free. I also, for the people who are interested in having the slides, I add a link to the slides on your note catcher so you have that information. Yes, so the PowerPoint is on your note catcher already. And all of that information will also be sent to you in an email. Beth and Brooke are lovely people who put all of this together and send you the recording, and they'll send another link to the note catcher that will have these links as well. And the last thing I ask of you in the final few minutes we have here is to please fill out a feedback. And I'm going to stop sharing so that I can get to that link very quickly. Just a very short survey that helps us at Solved continue to improve for you. So when you have that form, please feel free to take your last 3 minutes to fill it out. I would also welcome in our last 3 minutes any reflections or ideas that came out of this from your breakout rooms. And after you have finished this form, where are the note catcher? Oh, they're at the top. There's a link at the top of the note catcher. 3 strategies: mapping out SDI into content, methodology, delivery of instruction. Awesome. Thank you for sharing, Dana. Yes, hopefully that note catcher will be a one-stop shop to help you get back to all of the resources that you had today. So if you wanted to learn more about any of these practices, they're there for you. Because in an hour, we can only do so much. My goal is to leave you with as much information as possible to help you. All right, so when you finished the form, if you don't have any more questions, you're free to go and have a wonderful day. So again, a lot of people ask about the professional development credits. That will be part of your email that you get from Solved. SDI and content lesson planning for special needs and instruction. Wonderful. And we have 1 minute and then by time with you.
Caroline, thank you
much.
so much for
Thank
presenting today.
you.
Would you mind if I just share a little note with District 18? I just want them to check their emails for a second link. So District 18, you should have a second link from me. Please check your emails. Thank you so much, Caroline. This was great.
You're welcome. Thank you. District 18, don't forget to check your email for your second link. It's super important.
All right, thank you.
Yes. And everyone, please have a wonderful day and a great weekend.